Hi, my name is Brent Csutoras. I'm here with Search Engine Journal. I'm joined today by Gary Illyes, Chief of Sunshine and Happiness at Google.
That's correct.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
There's been a lot of discussion, I don't know, a lot of discussion, but there's been some decent discussion recent about Penguin.
I never heard about penguins.
No. Well, they've been running around here chasing you, so. Becoming more of a part of the everyday algorithm, the live algorithm.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, coming from the Google side of things, when you look at Penguin today and you think about webmasters out there, trying to do their best to adhere to the rules and whatnot, what do they really need to be considerate of or to think about when they're thinking about Penguin and how it's going to impact them in today's SEO?
I think with this release of Penguin, we did achieve something really nice. Because it doesn't, like traditionally web spam algorithms used to demote sites even.
The entire site. Right?
Entire sites. That's not the case anymore with Penguin. This Penguin release managed to, or can, in fact, discard links that are bad. That's the one of the nicest changes in this Penguin release. Next, it can be way more granular than the previous releases. As I said, previous releases usually demoted whole sites, while this one can even go to a page level and discount the links to the.
We were talking about the granular stuff. The interesting thing is that when you got penalized, you could pretty much tell. You had the update. So you saw a moment in time when you could say, oh, we just dipped. So obviously we've been hit with Penguin and we've disappeared. Now we're looking at this kind of more granular, demotion. Does that cause people to not be able, devaluation, does that cause people to not be able to see as easily when they're penalized?
But they won't be penalized. That's the major thing. Penguin doesn't work or doesn't penalize anymore, doesn't demote. It will just discard the incoming spam toward the site,
okay.
And it will just ignore the spam, and that's it. No penalty, no demotion, and it works in real time. So basically, that was the third thing.
So it seems like it's almost like an entire solution. I mean, you basically took a penalty and figured out how to just solve the problem.
That's why I think it's one of the nicest web spam launches that we ever had, pretty much.
Interesting. So what do people need to know, to avoid having that? How does Penguin, for people who don't know, how does Penguin get applied to somebody?
The major signal that Penguin is looking at is links. Basically, if there are many, or if there are bad links and other kinds of signals coming towards the site, then it will just discard them, and that's what they need to know. They can still see those links in Search Console, and they can decide whether they want to disavow or remove from the sites those links or not.
Will it mark them in the disavow? Not in the disavow, in the Search Console? Do you
It's not marked.
It's not marked, so
no.
you kind of still have to figure it out yourself, which ones.
But it's pretty easy. Usually, the links that are affected by Penguin or the Penguin algorithm, it's very easy to tell that they are bad links. So, for example, if you go to SEO directory for links.com, then that would be a bad link, very likely. And then profile pages, forum profile pages, typically those are also not that great because they were placed there for a very
Now there's been
reason.
an issue, I don't know if I'd call it a big issue, but there are some discussions about people doing kind of like toxic link campaigns, trying to send links to sites so they can get them penalized. Does this essentially solve any kind of concern with that? Because now it wouldn't really cause them to get penalized, it would cause them to just kind of be ignored.
Right. So first and foremost, we haven't seen a single case, a single one, where those toxic link campaigns worked.
Okay.
We spent tons of time with the ranking team looking at these cases, and we haven't seen a single one where it worked. But yes, in theory, this Penguin release would take care of that.
So even if people, a lot of times people are like, oh, well, that's what Google says. But even if they want to believe that it's happening, this would essentially solve it and alleviate that kind of concern to begin with. All right. So anybody wants to continue to follow the updates, where are the places that they can find what you're talking about, your social accounts, your publications? So
I'm trolling a lot on Twitter. That's my home base, pretty much. So you can follow me on Twitter under method and an E at the end. And we have our social channels for Google Webmasters, which is, I forgot what it is. You can find it on Twitter.
Google it, right?
Yeah. And also we have the Webmaster forums where you can ask questions even.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Gary. I really appreciate you spending the time. Real quick, I have to ask, what's the whole Chief of Sunshine and Happiness thing?
Just look at me. Come on.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Rulene, social producer at Search Engine Journal, and this is SEJ News Live. I'm here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern to give you the highlights of the digital marketing news of the week. All of the articles covered during today's episode will be shared in the comments during and after the broadcast. Thanks for working in the comments, Danielle. With the launch of our new SEO guide this month, SEJ has been featuring the experts who contributed to join our audience live.
Liking about the SEJ Summit is the 3 takeaways structure.
Yes.
I'm leaving with way more.
I also like the single session format for conferences.
I agreed to be a speaker here because I think above all else the quality of people who attend the meeting. There's something to be said about the fact that you can't just, hey, come. It's by invitation only.
What I've really liked about the speakers is